Hey guys, Lori here with Voice in the Dark, YouTube, and spiritscrossing.net. I decided that it was time to tell a story, I know, and um, I'm hoping that it helps some of you light workers out there remember, and the rest of the world to remember the humans on the planet. So this is to all us earthlings as humans on the planet. Once upon a time, there was this beautiful blue and green planet floating around in the third dimension. And a lot of beautiful little golden light beings who were so advanced, they were already gods. And they were just floating around, and they kind of saw this rip in time and space. So they went and investigated. And they found this beautiful planet. And they started inhabiting it. They would go in as these little light beings, and they'd go into the dirt or the rocks, the plants, the trees, the flowers, and just see what it felt like to be one with the flower, one with the earth, one with the waters. And it was fun. It was really fun. And they would go back and tell everybody about it. And so some more people would come with them, and more beings would come with them. And all that was here was animals and plants. And so they would commence to, just play longer and longer at experiencing this planet that was so diverse in its animal kingdom and plant kingdom that it was just amazing, and it was just an adorable place. And but eventually they came and stayed too long and forgot who they were. Eventually they ended up getting stuck here. So the gods from that area, that dimension, higher realm, came down and asked the gods that were in charge here, the powerful ones, if they would please make a body to house the spirits that are trapped on this planet so that they might grow and eventually, ascend and remember who they were and go back home, which is closer to the ninth dimension. And so the powerful ones said okay, and they commenced to, start. They're extremely great genetic engineers. And so they commenced, they were working with the animal life here, and, what they had here. Henceforth, the mythology creatures, with wings and horns and, half human and half animal. None of that was working. So one of the gods, Nanan, or powerful ones, I don't know what you want to call them. They are godlike to us, let's put it that way, here on Earth, because, wow, the things they can do. So anyway, she realized that part of their DNA, because they were humanoid, they were really big, but part of their DNA was going to have to be used to create this human form that needed to be made to house these spirits and give them a life so that they can, eventually remember who they were. So she used theirs. So that gave our bodies then a godlike ability, possibility, which became a big war in heaven over, because half of the powerful ones didn't want that, and the other half said it's fine. They got to grow and advance anyway. Well, we don't want them to become us, like this. Anyway, the higher echelons came down, and they said, "You've got a body now?" And they said, "Yes." And this is after the war and after several, Anyway, so the war in heaven in the Bible and all your religions and that was actually between the powerful ones in this district. This particular system, actually. They inhabited Mars and Saturn and that. So, and they had their own planet, which was our 12th planet. Anyway, back to the story of us. We, however, really had forgotten who we were. And there was an accord made with the higher entities and the powerful ones that, yes, they could be in charge of us and help us grow, help us. So they created religions so that we would understand gods, and we would understand magic, and we would understand celestial bodies and many things. But it was so we could ascend. And you have to figure this happened a little over 400,000 years ago. We've been here a long time, and it's time to ascend. For future generations, you need to pay attention to this as well. So the humanoid was created. This is where it just kind of popped into place, And the thing is that in that accord, we were given rights, inalienable rights. They were allowed to rule over Earth and rule over us, but they weren't allowed to make any decisions that would concern us in any major way, anyway, really, without telling us, so that we could say yes or no. And they kind of left that out, the rulers here. The rulers here are immortal. And they're the losing team. They're the ones that didn't like us in the first fucking place. So, that was their, what do you call it? Their chastisement. Well, you got to go down and take care of the humans now. And so a lot of our rulers are, really fallen angels. So, and there is a God here at all times. One of the powerful ones, at least one. And but the thing is that they are in power. They were meant to be in power, and it was approved of by our space, where we're from. However, being here and seeing what, and letting Source know, because there's been a complaint, big complaints, about our ascension taking so long. And many space beings and brothers and sisters are out there helping with this ascension, putting light energy down and sending, better vibrations, peaceful, loving vibrations, so that it'll help break us free to remember who we are. Because in our natural soul self, we are nothing but unconditional love and joy. Now, it's free will. If you choose to stay and be on the ugly side, the rough side, go ahead. You can. But just in case you ever change your mind in the future, the accord will stand true until all souls are free. All of us. And any souls that want to progress. Now, what I'm trying to say is, all the nonsense that's going on around the world right now is because the powerful ones are back, and they know we're ascending, and those that rule here have been fighting us. And what you're going to understand, and you need to understand very clearly, is that they sent an energy force down here. We have a matrix inside the matrix right now. And on that matrix, that force, they have sent all the negative, dark side of knowledge to us. And what they feed on is our negativity, and they encourage it in us. So henceforth, you've had all the distractions, and you've had all the violence, and all of this and that, and all the absurd crap they've got going on with all the transgender and this and that. Everything that seems absurd and stupid, it is, and it's being done deliberately. And then any of you that are depressed, get out of it. Fight back. It's not you. It's them. They feed and encourage that negativity. They want to keep you down. They want to hold us down. You know why? Because we're golden light beings. We're the most beautiful little beings in the universe. Well, outside of going higher, but we're beautiful and we're powerful. And our light is so much energy. And they feed off of it. This is so much like the Matrix. I went down the rabbit hole, and some days I wish the hell I hadn't. Because it's almost too absurd. But I had heard the story long ago about the Accord and the original agreement and what we are. We are gods. When Jesus came, and Shiva's tried to prove it, and other masters have tried to tell you that you're more than you're more than this reality. You are more than what you know. And they're trying to remind you that this ascension was supposed to happen during the 60s, but something went terribly wrong, and it didn't happen. It's important now, though. This is our time. This is our time to remember who we are. This is our time to become who we are. And for those of you that will need to understand that there is no sin. If there's any sin at all, it is your inability to love yourself the way the universe loves you, the way God loves you, the way I love you. Do not sell yourself short to anyone or anything for money, for drugs, for alcohol, for whatever. Don't. You can earn it. You can create anything you want with your mind. It's your choice. You don't need them. They'll try to get you with everything, and they'll use every fear and insecurity and shame and guilt that you have. Don't let them. And fight back, for God's sake. You got rights. You have inalienable rights. You have the right to water. You have the right to electricity. You have the right to toilets and sewers and indoor plumbing and lighting and heating and cooling and cars and comforts and food and insurance, medical. And it should be comfortable. You shouldn't live in squander. And this message is for the world. You have rights. Use them. Stand up for them. When they say they're going to do a reset of the world, they're going to reset the world back to the pharaohs. And we're all going to be the little guys on the totem pole that they just don't care about. And we'll be nothing again. Don't let them. Find your heart center. Now, I do a lot of talking on here about the meditation. I try to give people tools to use to heal and to meditate and to touch God's source. Now, I'm going to tell all light workers out there, and everybody needs to know this right now. If you are praying or using anything towards God and the angels and everything, there's good angels here. However, if you're talking to source and you think it's God talking to you, more than likely it's not right now, because they put that second matrix inside this grid. And it seals off the atmosphere. And to get to the central sun, you have to make a hole up there and go out. You have to know this. It's no fault of anybody's. You didn't know. All I know is that I got in trouble, so they were trying to harness me in and wouldn't let me astral travel anymore. Well, I got mad and said, "You can't keep me from source." They had a ceiling up there that you couldn't get through. I said, "Oh no, you can't do that. First law, you cannot keep me from source." But they're trying their darndest to keep us here. They're trying their darndest to control us. And that is not what the agreement was. And that's between them and the powerful ones. It isn't between us and them. And there is no division. For God's sakes, we're the human race, and half of us are alien. All of us are, really, almost. I mean, we all came from out there somewhere. This planet wasn't even meant for human life, sentient life forms like us. It was meant for animal and plants. That was it. And they were going to do mining and whatever. But anyway, the story goes on, and I'm not even going to get into all that. I'm telling you what I know as far as it's important to us. And that is, we have rights. And we have a right to stand up for them and demand them. And we have a right to know who we are and what we are. And I cannot encourage you more to learn to meditate and build a personal relationship with Source. Being grateful is wonderful, but being unable to tap into Source. And I'm going to tell you now, they've done everything they can to poison us so that it would poison our pineal gland, which is like an antenna for us, for Source. And we have to put a stop to this. It's going to take all of us to do this. And I believe that if everyone knew the truth, well, then maybe they'd think of things differently. And I'm not asking you to believe me. I'm asking you to do your own damn research. I'm asking you to do your own care. Dig in. Start looking. And start becoming who you really are. And you know, they want to tell us it's a school. Now, this is the big New Age thing. Oh, this is a school. And in some ways, I guess it is. Because they keep us trapped in two spaces. And the thing is if it's a school, I lost where I was going to go with that. Hang on. Well, even if it's a school, which they say it is, you still have rights. And even if this is just a program in our head, you have rights. And the thing is if God made us each unique, just slightly different within our soul, our souls. We have personality. It's slightly different. And when we come here, we want to experience different things as that soul, as that personality. Is it a perfect personality? No. It was before it came here, but it's not now. and that's okay. And either way you look at it, you're okay just the way you are. The only sin is to not follow who you truly are deep inside. So get rid of shame and guilt and all that. If you want to explore this, explore that, you know. And God doesn't care what your sexuality is, or your religion. What he cares about is your heart. That's it. And how much you love yourself. Are you shortchanging yourself? Do you have boundaries? Are you a woman that dresses sleazy to make the money? I mean, what are you doing that's wrong and you know it? It's not that it's wrong to God. It's wrong to us individually, our souls. I've got a book that I'm getting ready to publish, and I just got done writing. And I wrote the 10 obligations of the soul, and then the 10 new universal laws to live by. And it's important you understand that this was a battle for your soul from the dark side to the light side. And it's real. And God doesn't even care if you stay on the dark side or the light side. That's not what's important. What's important is it true to who you are? Because Source experiences everything through us. That's why he created each one of us individually and unique. Otherwise, he would have threw it down a bunch of robots and said, oh, let's see what they do. You know, no, we're not robots. So don't link up to AI. because we're not robots. We are already one with Source. We do not need any other outside. You're already permanently attached to the super consciousness. A supercomputer can't even come close to that. I don't care who built it. Now, a lot of things are about to happen soon. And you've already seen all the obnoxious, weird shit going on. And I mean, they're getting crazy. They're in your spiritualism. They've been in your religions forever. And now they're into everything. Your medicines, your medicinal properties, the stuff that they're blowing in the air that makes the skies look weird. That stuff is killing off all the natural plants on this planet that we, as humans, have often used when in need. Women are always directly linked to Source, always. And we're able to communicate with Source so fluently and clearly that we can talk to nature. We can find out which plants are good for us, what do we need for our supplement right now, you know. Anyway, they're killing off all the natural plants. We got to stop this. Now, I never dreamed I'd go here. But it has to be said. The only way to stop them right now is to heal, get in tune with Source, and make that relationship between you and Source real for you. Nobody can give it to you. It is something you have to fight for. It is something you have to go after. And it's not a fight. You meditate, but you got to make sure that your gut instinct is telling you what to listen to, and you know your values. And when I say that there is no sin, there are laws about killing people and hurting people, and that's why we have other laws to abide by. But the soul is always experiencing things, and sometimes the soul will come, and that's why I can't judge anybody. Stop judging. I mean, down to the nitty-gritty, because you don't know where they're at on their path. This might be their last lifetime of to go to ascension, their last cycle, and they decide to get the nasty stuff over with in the end, you know. So anyway, because we've all experienced being the bad guy and the good guy. That's how we made our choices. And for most of it, it's not hard. We'd rather stay with the heart and the light. You are special. I mean, so special. And you just don't know. And I want everyone out there that's feeling pain and sorrow and let it go. Find a way. I've got a lot of videos that help with some of that stuff and tell you where to go. But get off the drugs and alcohol so you can clear yourself, clear your head. Get off those phones and the internet. Shut them off half the day. Shut it off. I turn it off with the power now. Because everything's frequency. It is, you know, and the forces, these two forces that are now here, they can travel on this. And they use a lot of subliminal. And until you get your intuition built up really good, you're just going to become a zombie and not know what's the truth anymore. And get outside in nature. It'll ground you. But anyway, I just want people to understand. I want the humans of Earth to understand. You are special. You're beautiful. And you weren't meant to be trapped in your own head, listening to a voice, you know, kind of like the devil on this side and the angel on this side. Screw the devil. Listen to the angel. Because you are good and you are forgiven. You were forgiven the moment you were thought of in Source's mind. He never had any he has high expectations because he knows your abilities. But he doesn't hold it against you for exploring and experiencing life at all. And as you get up in the higher realms, your physical male-female self doesn't really fit. You're really a perfect balance of both. And you can get that now by learning how to meditate and finding your inner peace and finding your true self and letting shame and guilt and fear all go. Now, if you broke the law, you're going to have to pay for it because that's what laws are written for. And there are laws in the universe. And I'll read you some of mine and my soul obligations in the next video, I hope. And but this video was to let you know that our history on this planet is a lot bigger and longer than you'd ever dream. And we have seen Atlantis rise and fall. We have been to Mesopotamia and Sumeria. Some of us were pharaohs and gods and goddesses at one time on the planet living. But for the most part, we were just here to do the work. They were the leaders. They were the powers of the planet. Now, they're wanting to go back to that, and we have a choice in that. I guess what we need to do is decide if we want to be sheep, and I don't even call it sheep, I call it ostriches, bury our head in the sand and let it happen. Or are you going to put that phone down and the drugs and the alcohol and then the sexual parties and the bullshit and the money-hungry greed and stand up and dare to dream something bigger and better and start finding everything positive you can on the internet. But listen, becoming spiritual and centered and balanced does not mean that you're meant to just sit there and be happy. You're supposed to be active, very active. Get to know your world, get to understand it, because you're all going to have to be leaders at some point, eventually, to bring back a better world for the humans. The world is separating now. It's separating into two realms. The negative, those who can't seem to break through and get to the positive and the happy, and the greedy and all that, they'll be over here. And the ones that are happy and centered and prepared to move on to something better, well, they're going on the new earth. I just want people to understand that not all souls are going to make it. And it will be because they were deliberately given ignorance and a bunch of doctrines that are pieced together in a way that each religion only gave you one or maybe two truths. You would have to study all of them to find all the truth, and you would have had your own centering with the universe to have that excellent good gut intuition to know the truth. They left 90% of Jesus' teachings out of the Bible. All I'm saying is they will go to no end to keep you trapped. Fight back. And do not be afraid of them. God is with you. If you have true faith, God sees you. And He's got your back. Source. The God you normally pray to is the powerful ones. Get to Source. That they cannot stop. But you gotta want this. Otherwise, you're going to go to the white light and get recycled again. Just a soul recycled. And your memory gets wiped. And then they change all the records. I say fight now. Take control now. Take control of your soul's path and get on it. And let them have their world. Let them have their robots and their AI. But you come with us, where we're going to be happy. And shoot for golden era for the humans. Because we deserve it. And we were tricked and held down and trapped for too long. Now's your time. And it's moving quickly. But you can always get to the fifth dimension at any time. You just have to stay positive. Do all the healing you can get. You need to get that healing done. And I always suggest hypnotherapy because it actually takes you through the actual process of seeing as a third person, as an observer, what happened and what caused this trauma in you. You don't feel it like that anymore. And then it's gone. It doesn't mean anything anymore because you understand it. Allow yourself to be free of it and heal. And love yourself. Don't sell yourself cheap. You're gods, for God's sakes. Gods and goddesses. Act like it. You don't cheapen yourselves just to make money. And the sleazy clothes that they're putting out now and the crap. Demand better. Be better. And I've got one book out already that's Today's Intention. It helps you focus every day. Something new to focus on if you're having trouble focusing on anything positive. It gives you one little thing a day. And one little antidote at the end of the day, or question, so that you can think about it, what you need. It's called Today's Intention by Elliot. It's on Amazon. I don't know if you can see it. But I wouldn't have gone to all this trouble and to actually put this out there if I didn't have faith, not only in God is all that is, source, but that I have faith in the human spirit. I've seen it in action. And we have heart. That's what makes us different. Embrace it, because that's where your power is. Your power is in your heart. It's not in your head. And once you touch into source, become a superhuman. Become whatever you want. Because this reality is built. Now, you got to understand that this is key in case you end up staying. This reality is built to give you whatever you focus on, and that is emotionally. Now hear me out. And negative thinking, or positive thinking, okay? If you keep telling yourself, even in a joking way, oh, I did some of this, some of that, well, that's what you're going to get more of, and more people are going to see it like that. I went through a real bad dark night of the soul, and it's taken me a long time to get through it because I would never face my fears, my anger, my shame, my guilt, and I would never let another person know that they hurt my feelings, ever, or hurt me, ever. And, well, I've gotten over that now. Now you're going to get a slam dunk as soon as you do it. Because I'm not putting up with that shit no more. But, because this process has been hard on me. I'm 63 years old. And I really didn't expect to be going through all this crap at the end of my life. So, what I'm saying is, whatever you think about and whatever you focus on is what you're going to become. You need to heal your energy blocks and all your main 7 chakras, but your whole body. So learn different techniques from Chinese, Japanese, and Native American, wherever you got to, India. There are a lot of different chakra points and meridians in the body. You can heal your body. All you got to do is tell it. Be healed. Jesus said, everything he can do, you can do, because we are his brothers and sisters. He didn't say the only way to heaven was through him. It was as him. It was to be just like him. And get with it. You still have time. You still have time to become like Jesus. And he was nothing like they presented him in the books. He was actually very strong. He was indifferent to the powerful elites. He was just indifferent to them. His whole thing was to come down here and remind you who you were and how to be, and that you were capable of all these gifts. They are natural for all of us. And that's how you break free, with a childlike heart and wonder and beauty and joy and compassionate heart. And that's why you see spiritualists everywhere right now. But the dark side has made its way into all of that as well. So you really need to make this a personal relationship between you and God and the angels or aliens, whoever you want to talk to. They're all real. And the aliens are just other beings from other places. Some are humanoid. But anyway. I believe in the human spirit. That's where my faith is. Whenever there's a nightmare or crisis, see, certain powers here can only work from things that always work, okay, that have had a known record, okay. But when something new comes up and it's big and it's threatening and they aren't able to have original thought. And you are. So start using it. You are the most creative force on this planet. And that's not a lie. So get rid of your judgments. Stop listening to the bullshit. Because that's what it is. It's bullshit. I'm getting ready to write a big, long letter to the Democratic and Republican parties. But because democracy is the greatest system in the world. But when the humans get so used to it, the dark side moves in. We were never supposed to have a conglomerates in this country. That way we could keep a balanced flow of competition and good products, fair prices, good wages. We fought hard for those wages. We fought hard for no children working, and we fought hard for women to have their rights. And for men to be able to go to work in a healthy, safe environment. And women too now, you know. But the younger generation just doesn't understand what the history's been and how hard we had to fight, our generations had to fight to get here. And we still have more rights, and nobody knows about them. But you do now. Pass this video on if you would. I'm just going to have to trust the universe because I can't afford to have it advertised. But pass it on if you would, and because there's other people that might need to hear it and need it right now. You are perfectly fine the way you are, no matter what mistakes you've made, no matter anything, unless you've been killing people and really being, you know, that kind of person, then, you know, you need to go to prison. But in prison, you can ask for forgiveness from God and everything, and then when you do your time, because that's what you're supposed to do when you do something wrong. So, pass it on. I know I've ran over the time that I was going to utilize. But I'm so passionate about this, and I care so much. And I love humans. They don't like humans. When I found out that the fallen angels do not like it, and the powerful ones, they don't like humans. I got yelled at for sneaking up on Nibiru. And, because I knew they were in the system. I got yelled at. But I like to astral travel. I go a lot of places. And so I thought I'd go there anyway. I probably shouldn't talk about it. But anyway, what I'm saying is they don't like humans at all. But I think the underlying thing is that they didn't like the fact that they lost the war, and then God made them come down here and see us, oversee us, and help us just so that we would grow and remember who we were. But then they started changing things to control us more because they found out that our energy, oh my God, if they are violent to us and we're scared and feared and they see our light, they like to feed off that energy because it helps keep them younger and feel more vital, and they're energy vampires, and they're real. They travel at night. Check out some of the people that that never sleep. There you go. They astral travel, and they feed off our energy. And if you are depressed, sad, sorrow, really down in it, they will feed into your head while you're sleeping. They'll encourage it to be more and more. Because the longer they can keep you down, the more they can feed off of you. And you don't even know it because you're already depressed or sad or whatever it is, any of the negative vibrations. And then you think this tiredness that keeps coming over you, this tiredness, you're exhausted, you don't know where it's coming from, and you can't get out of bed, you can't get off the sofa, you can't get out in the world no more. It's because they're feeding off of you. Fight back. And the only way to fight back is finding your heart center and pulling on that strength and becoming a spirit, having a human experience, and let it rip. Anyway, and be positive, loving, compassionate, all those good things. Because they hate that, because they can't fight it, and they can't control it. So humans of the earth, you have rights. Remember that. And you can stand up. They're not allowed to hurt us. They've made it look like it was the humans having the wars and all this. And that's how we couldn't ascend. It wasn't us. They make all those choices. We don't. We think we do. They let us believe we do. And then to get by with it during this, time, they have put a little truth in every one of those conspiracy theorists. Now you got to use your gut instinct to find out what's true. I know that this second matrix is here because I've seen it. And it's like a grid work surrounding the whole planet. And they use it for holographic pictures because I've seen them. I've gotten to experience quite a bit through all this experience with the powerful ones. And it's no joke. So start meditating, start grounding, and get help, professional help. And always get a hypnotherapist because it's easier and it actually heals you. And you never want to wipe out your memories. Don't let anybody wipe out your memories. You got to keep your memories. You know why? Because if you don't, they change history and you won't have a clue. And you won't have any of those normal little red flags from your history to show which one's not good for you and which one is. A narcissist versus a good soul. And really build your intuition. I give some talks on that too. And then my new book will be out hopefully in another couple weeks, hopefully. And that'll be real helpful. And it's called The Power Is You. And I guess that's all I got today. Blessings and love, Lauren. Have a good one, and see you on the other side.